Hi, everybody, and welcome to New Music Friday today. And I have a special guest with me. Jana's here for today.
I just happen to have the day off of work, so I'm joining the program today just for funsies to give my sparkling commentary on whatever the news may be.
Right. So, usually she's not home when I usually film these, so it's kind of a treat to have her here. And I just thought it'd be kind of fun to have someone to bounce off some of the news items with, I guess. All right,
cool. I hope I'm not too distracting for
hopefully it's fun.
Diehard fans.
No, I'm sure they'll have fun with it.
Okay.
So, I guess I'll just jump in with news. News of the week. Okay, the first
we'll cut that out.
The first bit of news I have, which is probably predictable that this is what I'm going to talk about. I saw someone already comment that, I know for sure you're going to talk about this first, so, because it's Neal Morse related news, so it has to be mentioned.
He loves Neal Morse.
Yeah, and so there's going to be a new little group forming here with Nick DiVirgilio, Neal Morse, and Ross Jennings forming a new trio. DiVirgilio, Morse, and Jennings, and it looks like they're going to release a new debut album called Troika on Inside Out Music in early 2022. So early next year.
Are they going to call themselves DiVirgilio, Morse and Jennings, like DMJ?
DMJ, I guess so. Yeah, based on the news so far, it sounds like that's kind of the name they're going with so far.
That seems to be a thing for you Prog guys. The Prog musicians.
Yeah.
They just do initials.
They just do their names or initials, yeah.
That's all right.
So
Can't fault that at all.
A cool thing. It sounds like they kind of came up with this idea. Neal Morse was writing some acoustic songs during lockdown and thought it would be boosted up by some great vocal harmonies. So he brought on board Nick DiVirgilio to help him with some vocals. And then they decided to seek out Ross Jennings from Haken, who's a really great artist. So he's the lead singer of Haken.
I know that band.
Which I've
mentioned. They were on the cruise.
Yeah, they were on our cruise that we went to.
Yeah.
Progressive Nation at Sea cruise. And so really it's probably going to have a great emphasis on these beautiful 3-part harmonies, I'm guessing. And so it sounds like a really cool collaboration. I love their voices, all three of them. They're 3 of my favorite all-time singers. Of course, Nick DiVirgilio was in Spock's Beard and now is the drummer for Big Big Train. So he's a notable Prog figure. Yeah. Yeah, he was drummer for Spock's Beard, left Spock's Beard, but now is the drummer for Big Big Train. So, and Ross Jennings is, known for his vocals, and Haken, they even sometimes do these great vocal harmonies or Gentle Giant type counterpoint vocals, so it's a cool collaboration that I'm super excited for. It should be a great start to 2022. So just really excited about it. It'll be interesting to see what kind of music they come out with. It sounds like it might not be very proggy, very progressive rock. It could be more acoustic style, singer-songwriter type stuff.
I like that.
With harmonies, maybe more like Crosby, Stills, and Nash is what I'm kind of thinking of, a 3-part vocal harmony, kind of old school like that. So
I think that'll be fun. I like that type of stuff.
Yeah, so that should be really cool. And then I wanted another, just to keep going on that train of thought, no pun intended.
Because Big Train.
Ross Jennings, who's part of that trio. Ross Jennings, who's part of that trio, just came out with a new solo. He's coming out with a new solo album on November 19th, which I'm really excited for, called A Shadow of My Future Self. He's released several singles from it already, but he released a new one with a great accompanying video. Kind of has this video game style graphics and stuff. And it's a really cool, kind of more poppy. He was talking about arena rock type song like Styx, Kiss, or Journey, something like that. Just music that he enjoys in his solo work. So once again, not overtly progressive rock, but related because of his association with Haken and their prog material. So it should be a cool one. And I thought while we're here, since you're kind of the reaction person, we could play a little clip of it perhaps and get your feeling on the song, because it might be kind of up your alley, I think.
All right.
Let me.
Mario.
Yeah. He said there's a lot of like Easter eggs of different video game tropes in here.
I'm sure I'll get all of them.
A lot of these are like Haken album titles.
Oh, okay. Playing the video game called Feelings.
Yeah, that's the name of the song. It's like guitar picks and records. Okay, so yeah, just a cool new song. Kind of, like I said, more like just kind of nice standard rock music, more so, I'd say.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought that's my type of music. I really like that. That sounded good.
And it his new album, based on all the singles that have come out, seems like it has a lot of variety and a lot of different things in it. So should be a cool one to check out. I'm definitely excited for it. We'll definitely review it. I've pre-ordered the album and I'm excited for it to come in November. So that's a great piece of news. Oh, another new single that came out today that I wanted to mention is the new Glass Hammer single called Anthem to Andorath. Something like that. Andorath.
It sounds like Anorak.
Yeah.
From Ready Player One.
Yeah, here we go. More video game references.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. So this is from the upcoming Glass Hammer album, which is coming, I believe, in October. Don't have the date here, but yeah, mid-October. I know
Glass Hammer.
Yeah, Glass Hammer's a band from the U.S., I believe from like the eastern side of the U.S. They've been around for quite some time. They've done almost like an album per year for the last like long while. So this is kind of a part 2.
Hard workers. Of
their like kind of a companion album to their last album. It's kind of like a continuing story. It's like this kind of fantasy style story. So this new album is going to be called Scalagrim Into the Breach. So, should be really cool. And it looks like here, I didn't know this, but I'm looking at kind of a story here. It says Into the Breach is part 2 of last year's Dreaming City, which found lyricist, bassist, and co-producer Steve Babb drawing inspiration from sword and sorcery novels of the 70s. Now the album has inspired an actual 400-page novel, Scalagrim in the Vales of Pagurna. Which Babb plans to release in early 2022. So cool. It's being like kind of adapted into a fantasy novel, it looks like. So I don't know. Just thought that was neat. I think as a kind of a fantasy lover as well.
Yeah. Enter my commentary. I feel like that there's a big relationship between like progressive rock and sci-fi fantasy. For sure. That's what I'm like. So, like, was surprised by, but I don't know why. I read Ready Player One years ago, and 2112 Rush like has a big part in that, and so that I don't know, it just like it was surprising to me coming into this Prog world that all these like they're inspired by all these stories, and the stories are inspired by the music and back and forth, and like they coexist so well together. It's really cool.
Yeah, I think
really neat.
That's kind of one of the like stereotype. I don't know if stereotype's the right word, but it's one of the like things I think that people point out a lot that is known about progressive rock, that it's deals a lot with fantasy lyrics. Even it may even like kind of be made fun of for that it can delve a little too into like the mythology and almost to the point of like this kind of I don't know, silliness about it or something.
Nothing wrong with fantasy.
But I don't feel that way. I probably shouldn't even be mentioning this. But yeah, it's cool stuff to me. I really, it's cool what inspirations they draw from for lyrics and stuff. And I like great storytelling. And I love sci-fi fantasy. So it's cool that a lot of these older progressive rock albums draw from that. There's some songs inspired by like Lord of the Rings and different sci-fi novels. So
I mean, just like music, where you are free to listen to whatever you want, you're free to read whatever you want
for sure.
So I fight for your right to read what you want.
So
Librarians unite.
this new album is going to be a little bit on the heavier side. You mentioned Rush, so that's kind of a good like touchstone for what this is going to sound like, but a bit of Rush influence, I think. So I wanted to kind of once again play just a little bit of the new song, Anthem to Andorath, which just had a YouTube video released with it. So let's put that one on just for a brief minute here.
This is Glass Hammer?
Yeah, this is Glass Hammer. Kind of starts with a bit more of a ballad feel.
I love seeing a female singer.
Yeah. She's kind of new to the group, I think, for this album. Yeah. That's good.
I like that hard metal, Yeah,
it's almost kind of like, that symphonic metal we talk about. Female vocals and some like heavy, more metal-ish
right
sound.
up my alley.
Yeah. Who knew? Yeah. So yeah, I think that's going to be a really exciting release. I'll talk about it. The pre-order just went up today, so go out and pre-order that album if you're interested in it. I put my pre-order in, so definitely plan to talk about it on a review on the show. So just really a cool band that I like to support because they're a little bit more maybe independent than some of these other bigger prog names, and I think a lot of prog fans would really love them. So just want to draw some attention there. Now I wanted to mention, this kind of like, I'll probably go through this pretty quick, perhaps, but there's been a lot of news about upcoming tours, a lot about live shows and new things. So the first bit is kind of a personal, it impacts us personally because I just heard about this today. The Neal Morse Band tour is going to be postponed, at least the U.S. tour, I believe, till next February. So we had planned to go to the Seattle date, which we had
our flights and everything.
So it was going to be in October, but now it's moved to February. So unfortunate for us, like Jana just said, we were making plans already and excited about it. My parents were coming with us, and we're going to be, it was going to be a great trip.
It was their present.
Yeah, it was their present. So they're taking us, really, I should say, because of a great gift they gave to me for my birthday. But sounds like it's going to be moved to February. But they did say in the announcement that they might add some other dates around it. So there could be other concerts forthcoming. maybe even ones that are closer to us. So we maybe you don't even need to travel to Seattle, or maybe we still will just for the fun of it. I don't know yet. So
yeah.
So yeah, a lot of things, a lot of tour dates shifting, and because of the state of things in the world, there's a lot of uncertainty and things. So just kind of gonna happen, I guess. You kind of just have to prepare for that when you buy tickets right now. But there's a lot of other news too of other bands announcing tours and things, mostly in 2022. Frost, UK prog group Frost, have announced a tour for their upcoming, for their latest album, Day and Age.
This one.
Yes, that album.
A new one.
So there's a UK tour happening in April next year for that album. That should be really awesome. Opeth and Mastodon have announced a co-headlining tour in North America in November. Hopefully those dates hold and aren't postponed.
Do you have Opeth up here?
I don't have Opeth up here.
Do you have any Opeth vinyls?
I do, actually, of their newest album, Incauda Venenum. So...
What?
I hope I'm saying it right. I'm going to get all kinds of hate. Incauda Venenum. It's like cool. In a different language.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In fact, the album is in 2 different languages. But anyways.
Fun.
Yeah. So yeah, Opeth and Mastodon. Mastodon is coming out with a new album this year, so they'll be promoting that, I'm sure. And so...
Are they the same band, or are they like...
Yeah, they're 2 different bands, yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's Opeth and then there's Mastodon.
Okay.
And they're both, on the heavier side of the spectrum, more metal-ish.
Okay.
Opeth's known for their like heavy growling vocal. Of course, they don't really do that anymore. That was kind of their older style. Now they're more proggy in their approach and sound. Yeah. And Mastodon's a bit heavier. They're a bit more aggressive. I don't know if they you'd call it full-on growling, but definitely like some aggressive vocals and things. But yeah, so some cool tour dates there in November. Just something to check out. I know there's probably some fans of those bands in my audience. And then Big Train's doing a tour. I'm still awaiting, hoping some U.S. tour dates get announced at some point. Still kind of waiting on that. But for their UK tour, they announced that Mark Kelly's Marathon is going to be joining them for a few shows. As kind of an opening act. So that's kind of cool. Mark Kelly is the keyboardist of Marillion. And this is like his kind of solo project, which is really great. That the Marathon album, I've heard it and it's really a great one. So that should be a really cool show, to have kind of this cool opening act. Should be a great tour to go see in the UK. So that would be really cool. And then also, personally, one of my favorite groups, Spock's Beard, is doing a tour in the UK as well in March. So they just announced a new tour, and it sounds like it should be a fun time playing some of Spock's Beard classic songs, and then maybe some surprise songs they haven't played in a long time, or even ever, they say in their announcement. So I love Spock's Beard, so I would encourage you to see that. They're always incredible live. They're a great band. So that should be cool.
Have I seen them live?
It's a good question. I don't think so.
Oh.
I saw them. Yes. I think you saw them on the cruise. They were on that cruise we mentioned. Progressive Nation at Sea.
Cause Rio.
Yeah, Rio.
Did I already tell this story with the elevator?
I don't know if you did.
Okay, you guys get a story. We're on the Prog Nation at Sea cruise, and we had been separated because he was at a concert and I was somewhere else. And then, we were getting on. I was getting on an elevator, waiting for an elevator, and I don't pay attention to anybody who's around me. And the doors open up, and it's full of people, but they can get a couple people on. But I see my husband in the back of it, and I step forward, and I'm all smiles, and I'm like, "Hi, honey," and not caring that anybody else is there, and everybody else is all smiling and they seem so excited. I'm like, oh, they're so excited for me. I don't know why. That's weird. And then I look over and Rio is standing right next to me, and he's like, "I love rock and roll." And everybody laughed, and I'm like, okay, I'm not the star of the show here. I'm like, yay, Rio's here.
Yeah.
Random memory.
That's cool. Yeah.
punk rock. So he was the star of my show, so I could like see him right in the back, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna get on this elevator.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, Rio's amazing.
He was a nice guy.
Yeah, really cool. He's coming out. There isn't really a release date or anything, but it sounds like he's working on a solo album. So it's something I talked about in a previous episode.
So talented.
Yeah.
I feel like he's like one of those guys that plays like 5 keyboards at once and like can play it behind him, and I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe not.
No, you're right. He's awesome.
He's great.
So yeah, that's
and a nice guy because I stood next to him on an elevator once.
So yeah, just definitely some cool news. It sounds like a lot of tours are coming up in 2022. Hopefully everything will work out on these tours and they won't keep getting postponed and so forth. But sounds like there's a lot of confidence in touring in 2022. There's a lot of dates coming out for different bands. So it should be exciting for all of you that are able to attend these concerts. A lot of these are like in the UK based or, in different parts of the world than us. But I just like to mention it because I know I have kind of an international audience and might be some tours around you that you'd be interested in. So
could be fun.
And that's kind of it for the news, I think. I like to kind of talk about some of the shows we've done recently. Had a pretty good week on the channel. We did a Emerson, Lake and Palmer reaction together for Lucky Man.
Oh yeah.
Remember that one?
Yes, the very nice song that ended weird.
Yeah, that was the keyboard solo at the end that you thought was a little strange.
Yeah. I'm happy to say that your dad agreed with me.
Yeah, we had dinner with my parents and that was one of his comments that I totally agree with your take on that keyboard solo.
Weird ending, out of place. And I stand by that.
And just as
Don't hate me.
A last piece of news related, I was going to mention, it looks like there's this new big package coming from Emerson, Lake and Palmer, a big 10 LP, 7 CD live set called Out of This World, featuring a lot of different of their live shows.
Is it
some notable live shows?
The record companies that release these just to make money? Because like 2 out of the 3 of them are no longer with us, right?
Yeah, but it's like a retrospective, like celebrating their live shows, like notable live shows throughout their career. It did say Carl Palmer. Carl Palmer. That's a hard name to say somehow.
Of Emerson, Lake and Palmer?
Yeah, Palmer.
Carl Palmer.
Oh, man.
Say that 10 times fast. Just stop and try it and see if you can do it.
So
Tell us in the comments.
So he's involved, it sounds like, in celebrating the band and releasing this project. He says, I know Keith and Greg would agree with me. Out of This World is something I'll remember for a long time to come. For me, this shows ELP at their very best throughout years of touring and recording. The box set represents the lifeline of our music in our time. So, and it shows throughout their history from 1970 up to 1997. I was kind of interested that they're the second show that here called California Jam, Ontario Motor Speedway, Ontario, California, which is right near where we work. Yeah. So in 1974.
The Ontario Motor Speedway no longer exists.
Yeah.
It was made into the Ontario Mills Mall.
Okay. Well, that's cool.
A little bit of Ontario history.
Ontario history. Local history for anyone. So, I don't know.
It's Ontario in Southern California.
Yeah.
Not Canada.
Not Ontario, Canada. But yeah, it's cool that they did a concert so near us in 1974 that seems like it was a pretty notable one.
Nice.
So, anyways, that was that show on last Sunday. Look at the next
concert is in Canada.
Yeah, they did.
The next one listed
just
on
to
this.
Confuse you. Yeah, a show in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. All right, so I did shows this week based on different Beatles solo albums, so I'd like to turn your attention towards that. I put up a couple of them behind me.
And the other one's right there.
The other one's here, yeah. It's kind of a bigger box. I wasn't sure
it would. Hold it.
I wasn't sure it would fit on the wall, so.
I bet it would somewhere. I won't take the time to do it.
So anyways, those were some fun shows. They, probably didn't get as many views. Some of my older album shows don't really get a lot of attention, but if you're interested in Beatles solo albums, I'd recommend them.
It was cool. I didn't know much about the Beatles. Well, I don't know much about the Beatles, and so therefore I don't know much at all about the Beatles solo albums. So it was good and informational. So I watched all three. And,
oh, yay.
Sorry, I don't always watch all his shows.
That's okay.
But I watched those three for sure. So
okay. Well, I'm grateful. You watched at least some of my videos.
I'll do it sometimes when I'm like at work and I'm like, Miss Honey, and I'll like play one of your videos in the background.
That's nice. So yeah, those were the shows this week. Hopefully those of you who checked those out enjoyed watching those and my takes on these classic albums. Next week, I'm planning a new album review for the new Cyan album for King and Country. Just got the new CD/DVD in the mail, so Cyan, yeah. And they just released a new music video today of one of the songs from the album, so I'd recommend checking that out. I'll probably put a link to that in the description. So that'll be a fun one to talk about. A really great album that I'm excited to talk about. So yeah.
I don't think I know them at all.
Yeah, it's kind of a interesting case because I think it was like the main guy, Rob Reed. It was a band he started in school way back in the 80s or so forth. And he released a couple albums, but they weren't really well, they're kind of older and not as well made, I guess. And so they kind of went out of print and aren't really ones that anyone listens to. So he decided to revisit that material and like create a new album based on it and bring in a bunch of other new musicians and things on board. So,
well, all right.
Really cool. I'll get more into the history of it and be a little bit more articulate in my review of it. So, but right now I'm just trying to pull it from the top of my head. I think I'm getting things wrong, but
that's all right. People will forgive you.
Yeah, I'll get more information for the review. But anyways, it's I've listened to it several times. It's really a great album that I want to steer people towards. So I'll be talking all about it on my show next week. And we'll be reacting to a new song. I don't know if we want to divulge what it will be, but kind of an epic length song, I think.
Oh, we already filmed it.
Yeah, we filmed it.
So, all right, that'll be cool.
So that'll be cool. Coming up, Jana Reacts show, as usual. Should be a fun one. Kind of a more modern song, I guess. So hopefully... But it's a good one. Hopefully you guys will. I can't
remember if I liked it or not.
We'll see on the video. All right, and with that, I think I'm going to close the show.
All right.
So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Kind of a different format a little bit, but
sorry if I was too distracting or silly or.
I think it was fun.
I'm not very sorry because I'll do it again the next Friday I'm off.
Right.
Because it's fun.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right, so please subscribe if you like what I do here. I do these new Music Friday updates every week where I talk about the latest news in prog and music. And please join me for my other shows this week, the Jana React series and my album spotlights. And should be a fun week ahead. So thank you guys so much. And I'll hopefully see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye-bye.